Elisa Lam was a lively 21-year-old college student whose life was cut tragically short when she mysteriously drowned at a Los Angeles hotel. Was her death an accident, murder, or something more peculiar? Elisa Lam lived with a secret that shouldn't have been a secret. She struggled with the push and pull of bipolar disorder. Elisa, who sometimes went by her Cantonese name Lam Ho Yi, found comfort writing through the highs and lows on her blog, Ether Fields, where she expressed disappointment in herself for relapsing into her illness. She abandoned this blog in favor of her Tumblr account, Nouvelle Nouveau, where she continued to write about her struggle with bouts of mania and depression. On January 13, 2013, Elisa posted that she booked her flight to explore San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Cruz, and San Francisco on what she called her West Coast tour. Elisa's family worried when their daughter told them that she was taking an impromptu solo journey to California. She appeased their fears when she promised to call every single day and let them know she was safe. She embarked on her trip on January 22, 2013. The first leg of Elisa's tour went as planned. She came to San Diego, where she lounged around and stuffed herself with $3 meals and enjoyed the San Diego sights. Most of all, she made good on her promise to contact her family every day. Elisa made it to Los Angeles on January 26, 2013, and checked into the Cecil Hotel. At first, she stayed in a shared room, but her roommates took issue with her odd behaviors, and Elisa moved to a private room. The Cecil Hotel, now known as the Stay on Main, is a historic hotel located at 640 South Main Street in Los Angeles. Even before the Elisa Lam issue, the hotel had a morbidly dark history. The Cecil was a grand hotel when it opened in 1927, but the Great Depression hit Los Angeles hard, and the hotel fell quickly into decline. As decades passed, thousands of homeless people began moving into the area, which is now known as Skid Row. The hotel could not command high rates due to its location, which attracted guests who needed the cheapest place to stay. Often these guests were at extremely low points in life. During the 1960s, locals called it the Suicide, as the hotel has seen at least 6 suicides and several murders, including the murder of an infant. 2 serial killers called the Cecil home. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, lived there in 1985 at $14 per night during the height of his killing career. Notorious Austrian murderer Jack Unterweger was a resident in 1991. Jack chose this hotel due to its connection with the Night Stalker. Why would Elise choose a hotel in such a poor location with an evil past? Likely she didn't know. Elise hoped to take a side trip to San Luis Obispo, and she was trying to stretch her traveling money as far as it could go. In San Diego, she bragged about eating $3 meals, after all. Elisa continued to document bits of her journey on her blog. However, on January 31st, she didn't call home. She was scheduled to check out that day, but never did. Her parents were alarmed and they called the Los Angeles Police Department. LAPD attempted to search the premises of the Cecil Hotel. They were unable to obtain a warrant allowing them to search each room, but they were able to search the common areas and the rooftop. Still, they found no trace of Elisa. The days leading up to her disappearance, Elisa made a few odd blog posts. She mentioned she lost her phone at the speakeasy, and strange men pursued her aggressively. Elisa was using public transportation to get around LA, which is not the safest mode of travel for a single girl unfamiliar with the neighborhood. On February 14, LAPD released a grainy CCTV video of Elisa taken from inside of an elevator in hopes that someone would recognize her. The footage showed Elisa in a distressed state. The elevator door appeared to be jammed as Elisa frantically pressed nearly all the buttons. She would exit and enter the elevator as if she were hiding from some unseen person, and make strange gestures with her hands. The unsettling video went viral, and several theories emerged that someone or something was following Elisa. At the end of the video, Elisa walks out of frame, never to be seen again. 5 days after the release of the video, hotel guests began to complain. The water pressure was low, and what water they could get tested smelled funny. At times, the water would appear black. Hotel worker Santiago Lopez went to the rooftop to inspect the cisterns holding the hotel's water supply. When he looked inside the tank, he discovered the nude body of Elisa Lam floating 12 inches below the surface. How did Elisa end up in the water tank? When LAPD announced Elisa's death, the internet was inundated with rumors and wild theories. It was clear that the cause of death was drowning. Eerie circumstances surrounding the drowning called the manner of death into question. Did Elisa drown herself? Did someone murder her? Was she influenced by the paranormal? Or was it a horrible accident? Skid Row is a scary place, and Elisa was traveling through it by herself, which made her vulnerable to violence. And while she didn't complain of being followed, she didn't appear too rattled by it. If an unknown killer followed her up to the rooftop, that killer managed to evade security cameras as well as hotel staff and not leave a trace. Elisa had no clothes on when her body was discovered. Her autopsy showed no evidence of trauma or sexual assault. Many internet commentators who watched the elevator video speculated that Elisa was communicating with an invisible presence in the hallway. In light of the hotel's sinister history, some concluded the presence was a ghost. At times, when Elisa moved her hands, they appeared to bend at the wrist unnaturally. Unnatural, though, does not necessarily mean supernatural. People questioned how Elisa got to the water tanks at all. Access to the roof meant walking through a locked door and tripping a security alarm. These armchair sleuths failed to realize there were 4 routes to the place where Elisa died. Aside from locked doors and alarms, Elisa could have taken any of the 3 fire escapes directly to the towers and climbed in. Internet theorists also wondered how Elisa shut the heavy latch on the water tank. Well, she didn't. Despite many inaccurate reports that the hatch was closed, the employee who discovered her body stated that it was opened. Elisa was, after all, dealing with mental illness. She very well could have sunk into a depressive episode so deep it caused her to become suicidal. However, the day she went missing, she visited a bookstore. The manager of that bookstore, Katie Orphan, said Elisa was shopping for her family back in Canada and questioned if her purchases would be too heavy for travel. Elisa loved writing, and she loved her family. If she decided to kill herself, she likely would have left a note. According to the Mayo Clinic, a person with bipolar disorder who is experiencing a manic episode may experience euphoria and have a diminished ability to make healthy decisions. Mania can also lead to psychosis, hallmarked by hallucinations, delusions, and even strange body movements, as seen in the video. The coroner concluded the cause of death was an accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a contributing factor. If she crashed into a depressive episode and committed suicide, the coroner would have listed it as such. It seems Elisa was experiencing a bout of mania, possibly complicated by psychosis. Her blood work, for what little blood she had left, tested negative for drugs and alcohol. It did show all of the medications she took to treat her illness, but not all of them in adequate doses. Aftermath. It is impossible to know what was happening inside her mind. We only know that Elisa was very sick and that her life ended before it began. Her family will never again enjoy her quick wit or her bright smile. And while to the internet world, Elisa Lam may be remembered as a peculiar death that made a good scary story, for her friends and family, she was extremely loved and will forever be missed.